Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. Today we are just going to be building a board for the VIC-20 which will hopefully in future help us with some of the problems. I suspect it's not going to be any help now because I think there's issues on the board which kind of predisposed, well, kind of before this board would be helpful, let's put it that way. Anyway, I also have to say a thank you to PCB Way, who helped us out by actually giving us these boards for free. So this is the Diag card, which is by Jeroen Lasveld, I think that is. I don't know if it's based on someone else's board or not. This is part of it. There's another part as well to do other checks, but I think we just need this one for testing the memory. Hopefully, I don't know, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, PCB Way gave us these boards for free. They just gave us the board, so there's no expectations on what I have to say. But fortunately, I can say that they're really nice to deal with. The boards were really nice. They're probably slightly better quality than the people I normally use, and they arrive really quickly. So you know, they're a good service if you want to get boards made up. They've also got like predefined projects that other people have done, shared projects. And I've used one of those in a future video, which will be coming up hopefully soon. I'm just waiting for some components to arrive for that. And it's a really good way just to get some tried and tested projects because you can see they're reviewed and stuff, and people have used them and things like that. And then you can just get them made up and sent to you. So yeah, thank you PCB Way. Right, let's get on with the video. Right, so here we are. This is the VIC-20 Diag card. Now, this is only part of this solution, by the way. It's by a guy called Jeroen Lasveld, I think. Sorry, I butchered your name. A bit closer. No, that way. There you go. Yeah, if you search for it, you can find the Gerbers online. I think we only need this bit because we just want to really test the memory first, although we'll maybe print out the other bits which connect to this to make the harness to test things like input and output. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to use this straight away. I think there are other issues with that VIC-20 that I'm going to have to go through. I'll do a video on that, obviously, before this becomes useful. I suspect there's many issues with it. But we'll put this together now while we've got the parts. Now, there'll be two bits to this, both of which we'll show today, hopefully. First of all, of course, soldering the parts on. We'll of course be using holders for all the chips. The next part will be actually flashing this ROM, which will have the Diag software on it. As you can see from the markings on the board, it's a 27256, and we've also got two SRAM chips as well, which go in there. Obviously, they don't need to be flashed or anything; they are memory. Yeah, and some dip switches and resistor networks. And a logic chip as well. Oh, and a switch, which we'll have to... let's find a switch. Where are my... there we are. Where are my switches? Right, let's find a switch that will fit. I have many, as you can see. Interestingly, I appear to have some surface mount chips in there as well. Never mind. So... will that fit? Yes, it will. There we go. So we have our switch. Right. I bought those switches, by the way, as kind of a company on Alibaba sold a sample pack of switches, and there were just hundreds of different types of switches. Really useful. Quite cheap to get as well. Right, anyway, let's start soldering these bits on, and then we'll go and we'll try to program this chip with the Diag software. Yes. Well, let's do it. As always with these, you want to make sure that the little nick there matches up with the hole on the... well, in this case it's not one, that one's got one, but this one has just got a dot, but that shows position 1. So make sure that is lined up at the top. These aren't my favourite kind of holders, by the way, but I couldn't get any others. Now, these hold in pretty well, but if they don't, then the best way I found of doing it is just putting some solder on your soldering iron, holding it flat, because you obviously want these to be flat ideally, so they've got the best grip, and then just applying some solder to two of the legs. It won't be great, but once you've done that you can go over them afterwards as well. In this case I will maybe on this motherboard I may need to use some flux. It's not going on well. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to use some flux. Alright, let's go for it. Yeah, that's flowing much better now. Alright, that's the first one in. Yeah, it looks pretty well done. And it looks nice and flat. So we'll just go and do the others well. And I'll quickly run through them. Well, that's those three in. I really dislike this kind of chip holder. I mean, they're double white, which is good. They've got contact on both sides. But the legs are so thin that they just kind of bend for no good reason. I won't get into the reason why I was having to buy cheap holders from the UK rather than the nice ones of my of another European country, because that way madness lies. Alright, put the other chip holder in, and then we'll tackle the resistor network. This is the nicer kind. It does also unfortunately mean that it's not stuck in there like the other one, so we will have to do right. There we go. So that's pretty well held in and it's nice and flat. So now we can finish off the other sides. Go. There's the chip holders in. They'll look pretty flush to me. Hard to tell the more expensive ones, of course, they've got a bit of a neck on them, but they do seem flat, so that's good. Now then, slightly harder will be these resistor networks. Now, for these, to see how well we can focus, probably not well. On here you'll see, well on this one, it's got the square contact, which is the ground. On this you'll see a little dot, which is the ground, so just make sure those two line up. Now again, we're going to have to hold it in place, put some flux on. And then put some solder onto the tip of the iron. Now we hold the resistor network in place, we can just apply some solder like that. There we go, flux helps it to move, so now that should be nice and tight. And we can do the other side to hold that in place. There we are. So that's one in place, nice and square. Not pretty square. So let's do the same with the other one. Right, now let's do the dip switches. So this is going to be the same again, pretty much. nice and flat. So finally the switch, which I think I pretty much just knocked off the desk, so bear with me. Right, found it. Okay, so switches are a bit easier because the way they're bowed, they tend to grip. Ah, well, that took a bit of work. Yeah, so sometimes they're hard to get in, those legs. Right. Last bit of soldering. Right, and that's everything in. Just need to put the chips in. So we can put in obviously the logic chip over here. Being careful to make sure that the little oval cutout matches the oval cutout on here. And all the legs are in place, and they are. We can put in the two SRAM chips as well. Again, making sure those ovals match. It's much more challenging. I believe those legs are in, and the one over here as well. Okay, those appear to be in. Right, I'll put the other one in yet, obviously, because we have to flash it. So I wonder where I put my flash device. Back soon. Right, so we have built the board. We've burned the EEPROM. I did quickly test it, obviously. Obviously, I'm going to try it. As I expected, it's the exact same behaviour, just a black screen. Now, I am not an expert on the VIC-20 by any means, so I am going slightly blind, but that's just because I haven't looked up any information yet, and I can look up information because this is like one of my other machines which are so obscure you can't find any information. Half the time it's in a language that you can't even search, let alone understand when you find it. So it's not like that. There's a lot of documentation about Commodore machines out there, so I've got no worries about this machine eventually working. It's just going to take a lot of work, and I don't know if this board works because again I don't know much about VIC-20. I just found this. It was the only one I could find. The schematics look fine. I've looked at them. It all seems to match up to what I'd expect it to be doing. The EEPROM software, again, I don't know. I can't find the source code. I can only find a binary file, so we do have to check that. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit like. If you really like the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. And don't forget you can join our membership if you want to get early access to videos from just $1. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can be told when new videos come out. Patreon is also existing as well if you want to do that instead. Oh, and thanks to PCBWay again for sort of sending me these boards for free. It's very helpful. Saves a lot of money. And yeah, it was a great service anyway. I mean, I'm not really, they're kind of not sponsoring me as such. They've just provided the boards, so I don't really have to say anything about them. That wasn't part of what they wanted. Which is, I can freely say though that no, it was good. I mean, the service was good. The boards are really, really good quality. Actually, slightly better quality than what people I normally use, and the delivery was really quick. So, yeah, it's a good service. Anyway, see you next time.
The present is horrible. The future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting re-enthused. Back to the past and the things we used. We all know that our pasts were great. Escaping the things that today we hate. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused.